gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Michael Collins, 2024 Chair of the Robbins Regional Chamber Board of Directors.
In our 75th year, we continue to do this series as one of the many ways that we support our business community. Because in this series, we connect members to municipal partners, developmental partners, and community champions. We also get to dig deeper into the priorities, progress, and partnership opportunities of our program presenters, all while networking with peers and gaining new insight into what matters most into our great community moving forward. I'd like to express how grateful we are for our ongoing support of our hosting sponsor, Houston Healthcare. We heard from them in the video just a second ago. We're so thankful to have this place where we can meet, and so thankful for all they do for the chamber. And we're also thankful for our longtime presenting series sponsor, Synovus. So at this time, I'd like to call our resident amateur comedian and representative of Synovus, Ron Wyler, to stage for a few comments. Help me welcome.
Michael, thank you for that introduction.
That was a promotion.
Exactly, known for something. I want to thank you and April and the Chamber for this series. We're delighted to sponsor this. I've said this before, y'all will hear it again too, is that this is very few meetings that you'll get to hear everything that's going on in a community and get the nuts and bolts of what's going on. So I'm grateful for what y'all do to make that happen. If y'all will stand with me, we'll do an invocation and pledge. Dear Lord, the one that breathes life into every living thing, we praise you. We come to you humbly with gratitude and love. And we're grateful for the sacrifice of your Son to show us how much you love us. We know how feeble and weak we are, and all of our strength comes from you. So just let us look to your examples and Stephen and Paul, and give us strength as we go through our walk. And we just ask blessings over everybody that's represented in this room, as they all are vital parts of this community. We're all connected in more than one way. Just make us sensitive to the needs of each other, and have us do your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
You want me to pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I was going to pretend like that. That's how I was finding where my true fans were. All right, I have two. All right. Is David Danzy here?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he's right here. Yeah. Why can't you trust an atom? Because they make up everything.
Oh.
That one's on you, buddy. Hang on, I have one more. Love the fact that you indulge me with these cheesy jokes. A cheese factory exploded downtown. Debris was all over the streets. That's a good one. Thank y'all.
I need all of that. I don't know if you've seen, they have these reels on the internet where these two people read dad jokes back and forth, and you get points for how many times you get the other one to crack up. I feel like that's me up here. But also like to thank our weather sponsorship this morning provided by Kim Hamlin and the Hamlin Group. Our supporting sponsor today is Happy Hour Service Center, and we're so grateful for them and what they mean for this community as well. Our session sponsor this morning, though, is Gregor's Wealth Management. Please help me welcome my good friend, Billy Griggers to the stage for a few comments about this.
I can't follow those jokes, so I'll just tell you a little bit about us. Griggers Wealth Management, we're in our 25th year here in the community, helping all of the people here in Warner Robins, whether it be civil service or their 401ks with retirement planning. I did want to recognize my staff. We also have I should say Lacey. We have Lacey's our oldest new addition, and then we've got Heath, and of course my son James. We are the walking wounded in our office today. We've had about half the staff in and out, depending on which day it was with the, I don't know whether it's COVID or the flu or whatever, but we've managed through the day. I do want to make one announcement. I've been warned by Michael not to do it. Somebody's birthday was yesterday, and luckily, they must still be outside, but they turned 29, so when they come in, y'all will know who she is. Arlene, I didn't say that. So remember that, and wish her a happy birthday, and Billy Griggers did not tell you that, okay?
Billy's living dangerously. We are honored to have the mayor here with us this morning and to learn about what's going on in the city. So at this time, please help me welcome Mayor LaRonda Patrick and April Bragg to the platform.
All right, good morning, everybody. We've got a lot of energy this morning. Should be lots of fun. So welcome, Mayor. Welcome back. It's hard to believe this is our third time hosting you here. It really has flown by. I know your very first Eggs and Issues with us, you were brand new. So we're about halfway through your first term here as mayor. So I'd love to just start off with some introductions of any of your team you want to do, and then let's talk about some of the highlights of the last 2 years.
Awesome. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having the City of Warner Robins here today. And we have a lot of my teammates here, and I'm going to call out a couple of them. I'm going to ask the rest to just stand because I think it'll take me halfway through time to go through everybody.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to make sure I acknowledge our interim city administrator, Mr. Dotson. And our operations manager, Ms. Felicia Wright. She's had a promotion since the last time we saw her. And Chief of Police, Chief Wayne Fisher. And our interim Chief of Fire, Alan Angel. And all of our directors, if you'll just, I have a city councilman, Councilman Larry Curtis. Stand. We don't stand as long as yesterday. And then all of our directors, if they'll stand up, please. And then all of our staff, if they'll stand up as well. So yeah, we have a pretty full team today.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good.
So let's, if you will, just give us a couple of highlights of the last 2 years. We're going to spend most of our program today really talking about what's on the docket for this upcoming year. A lot of future planning, growth, all that good stuff. But let's highlight a couple of things for those who might have not been here last year.
Happy birthday, Arlie. We just made the announcement. There she is. He said when she came in, we know who it was. So I just followed. I'm a follower of instructions.
Right, real quick, Mayor, Zach, we're getting a little bit of a ring here on the feedback, if y'all can take care of that. All right, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, so what we've done, I forgot the question.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
Working super hard. Working super hard. I have a great team at the City of Warner Robins. We came in with a very aggressive agenda when I first came into this office, and the majority of things that we said we were going to do, we have done, or at least the ball is rolling in that direction. So we're extremely excited, extremely proud about our accomplishments that we've made as a city. We really operate as a team and a family now from all levels, executive team, the city councilmen, directors, and staff, trying to eliminate silos, and we realize how much more we can do when we actually connect and work together on things. And that's a part of the reason why we've had the progress that we've had over the last 2 years. But as far as big pictures of things we've been doing, Operation Reawaken, that's been one of the biggest highlights, the very thing that many of us have talked about for decades wanting to see, and we're finally making positive strides to make that happen and have a real downtown in the city of Warner Robins. When I came in, if my memory is proper, the city owned less than 1 acre of the commercial circle district. And now we own or have under contract 81%. So when I tell you aggressive, I mean it. So thank you so much to our Community Economic Development Director, Ms. Kate Hogan, for getting those offers from the owners of those properties who kind of buy into our vision and want to see the downtown just as much as the rest of us. So that's the biggest thing. Another thing that we're extremely excited about, of course, is the homeless shelter, which I think you're going to ask me about in a moment, so I'm going to skip that. And the last thing I'll say is the raises. We've got some really big raises for our city employees. They deserved it. We were making lower than the majority of cities that are larger than us, and many that were smaller than us. And our employees were still sticking in there because they love working for the city of Warner Robins, and that's from their own words. So it was time for us to get with the times and give them what they deserved, and we found the money by going through some encumbrances in our budget. The revenues coming in supporting those raises going forward. So we did a 35% pay raise for the starting salary at the city of Warner Robins, which calculates to mean the majority of our staff, we have over 630 full-time employees, the majority of them received a 35% raise last year. So it's truly life-changing for our staff we've had for over 20 years, 15 years, even 30. Life-changing for them in the times when it's hard to even find a place to lay your head without spending a fortune. So we're so excited about how things are going in Warner Robins.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for that. So you mentioned, the raises, obviously, and that got a lot of publicity. Y'all had a fantastic celebration at Southside when you shared that with all of the city employees. One of the things that you highlighted yesterday in your State of the City was the budget increase of, I believe it was $20 million over the last couple of years. We'd love to hear your secret sauce, because I think everybody in here would love to be able to, offer those raises and find that extra revenue. Can you shed a little bit of light on how y'all were able to free up and identify those funds?
Absolutely. So many people in here deal with the budget, and you budget for things that you're planning for the future. But sometimes you don't ever get to those expenditures. You don't ever use the money. So what we usually have done, the history of our city government, is we'll still keep them in the buckets for which they were allocated for, but they're sitting and going year after year and not being utilized. So what we did is we identified, we call those encumbrances, and we pulled them back into the general fund so that we can see how much money came up in that bucket, and it was enough to cover the raises. So we've done that. We've been much more conservative when it comes to identifying funds for each budget to use. Let's make sure we put money in that we're actually going to use, make sure it's realistic to timeline, that it can be used in a year, and that's also been helpful. So we're not over predicting too high on things that realistically we're never gonna get to anyway. We make sure we prioritize our agendas when it comes to spending, and whatever year, if it takes the third year to get to this project, then that's when you're gonna see it on the budget. Instead of seeing it on the first year, carry over to the second year, then carry it to the third year, because the money that's allocated could be used for things that we actually need for that budget year. So being very strategic about our spending has been helpful. Also cutting waste, doing a lot of things internal if our team has the skills to do it. And that's been a little bit of our secret. And there's much more that the finance team would do that I don't know all those numbers and calculations. I just know the big picture part, because that's the part that I'm involved in.
Yeah. That's perfect. Thank you so much for that. So before we move into kind of the future priorities, and this is actually listed as one of the priorities over the next 2 years, but I know for years, one of the most visible signs of the progress in the city has been the just amazing advancements of Parks and Recreation. I know Jar and his team, have given updates and shared with us, and I know many of y'all play pickleball and utilize the new recreation facility, and there are just a number of engagement points. Can you give us a little update about what's in the works now and maybe what's to come as far as Parks and Rec is concerned?
Absolutely. We all love our Parks and Rec. About 20% of our budget, if I remember proper, goes to Parks and Rec. And that's providing a service to the public, and that's what it is. It's not something you're supposed to make a profit off of. You gotta make sure it fits in your budget, of course. You cannot shoot yourself in the foot. But we make sure we have the money allocated to provide the services required to give you recreational activities. So we're gonna be upgrading our parks to include some pavilions, so we can have some outdoor seating. I know Ted Wright Park has gotten a lot of attention from a lot of families. A lot of little ones love that park, and we do too. But one thing that we've realized is the parents are standing while the kids are playing. We're not booking birthday parties because we don't have any pavilions. That's something that you're going to see happen. We're gonna be putting some pavilions in, not just that park, but across our parks, that have a lot of activity and a lot of people visiting. So you're gonna see that upgrade this year. Trying to do some more activities if we can. We're gonna be planning different activities to our parks that we currently use. So, I think we have some really nice surprises for the public when it comes to recreation in the city.
That's wonderful. So we'll be on the lookout for those. A couple of other things that I wanted to just kind of ask you about. I know most of us in the room have heard Warner Robins referred to as the International City. I know that's been something you've been very focused on, is helping to create that culture and identity and giving truthfulness to our claim about being the international city. Can you share with us what's on the horizon and what we've got to look forward to there?
Absolutely. She's asking some hard questions.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you. Well, these are good questions. I didn't look at it, I was so busy. But they're really great questions.
Still, I'll be a surprise. It's fun.
But you hit it right on the nose. I mean, we've always been known as Georgia's International City, but when I moved here in 1994 with my family, I heard the word, but I didn't see anything to show that we were an international city. So that stuck with me as a child through adulthood, and someone who I love cultures. I love meeting new people. I love how our cultures make us special. And if you look at my friends list, you're gonna see a mixture of cultures, because I just really love on people and people being people. So I wanted to make sure that we were really unearthing that in our city. And one way we plan to do it is we added a new signature event for the city of Warner Robins, and that is our International City Experience. We are Georgia's International City officially, so we said we're gonna make it a signature event that's all about that. So it's gonna be so awesome. We have a new date for that. Lara's gonna talk about some more of our activities, but we have a new date for that, and I hope everybody comes out to get that experience. We'll have more than 7, but we'll have several acts from all different cultures, and you're gonna see what countries they're from. These are people that are inside of our community, right under our noses. We didn't even know were here. So it's so awesome. I think we're even gonna have river dancers. Are we still having river dancers? Okay, so we're really trying to touch all different cultures and international experience, because each of us brings something when it comes to culture.
I love it, and I think Lyra will expand on that for us in a little bit. I had a question for you about public safety and smart technology, but I'm gonna save that for when Chief Fisher's up here with us. But I know another priority has been communication, and you've made some real enhancements in that area, both internal and with the public. Can you share a little bit about probably what many of us interface with most with the city as it relates to communication, which is your website, and I believe you'll also have an app in development as well.
Yes, so our website sucks. I mean, it's pretty old. I do not like it at all. But any day, any month or week now, we'll be launching our new one that's been in production. We had a timeline to launch it before February came in, but who would have known? We have a lot of material on our website in places that don't make sense. So the developers are taking their time to get it right and redoing more than they thought they had to redo. Hence, we have a later launch date, but it's coming. We want it to be very innovative. Innovative momentum is what we're doing this year. This year we are about getting things done in execution. So you're gonna see that website. It'll be more in our century, and I think you'll like it. And our app will be partnered with it. So we're waiting on the app to finish development. As soon as after the site's done, the next launch will be our app. And then we're also trying to make sure we have hard documents that communicate as well. Because as I've learned, a lot of individuals who are more of the traditionalists or even the baby boomers, they don't go on the social media, they don't go on YouTube, they don't even know how to work those things sometimes. So we have to think about everybody in our community. So that's why we're building a city for everyone. So we have a magazine that we made, we'll keep adding more to it. So if you come by and pick up that, it gives you all the information you'll find on the website anyway. So we're trying to make sure we really adjust it. We have a new communications and marketing specialist doing a phenomenal job. And we're so pleased for how our team has grown.
Very good. And as the mayor pointed out, y'all do have the latest hot off the press magazines from the city in front of you. Make sure you take those, and there are more available if you need those. But I'll give another shout out to Jeremy and the team. If you're not following the city's page, Parks and Rec, all of the different pages that they manage, it really is a great way to stay connected. They're utilizing them in a much more intentional way now, and being proactive about sharing what's going on with the city. So before we bring up any guests to join us in the hot seat, I do have two specific updates that I wanted to ask you about that were in the works this time last year and or ongoing priorities. The first of which being the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Can you give us a status update on that project?
Sure. It's still in the works. I'm teasing. It is true though. It's still in the works. We are anxiously awaiting for someone who owns property on the area of interest, which is Vietnam Veterans Memorial Parkway, to be so gracious as to donate land to the city of Warner Robins so that we can build the first Vietnam Veterans Memorial for Georgia fallen in the state of Georgia. It's gotten a lot of attention across the state, outside of our city, outside of our region, and even some at the national level. Everybody wants to see it, but it's kind of like, everybody wants it, now what? We gotta get the land first. So we've had some disappointments in the past, but I also know, it's a market out here, and people own property, they have the right to sell it for whatever they want to sell it for. So we're just graciously awaiting someone who I already know the names. I'm waiting on a specific date and a specific thing to happen so that we can make an announcement prayerfully that does nothing falls through this time on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. So we're still holding our breath, hoping that this time it does work.
Very good. It's hard to believe that it's only been a little over a year ago when we were having the discussion about the warming center and the incredible work that was done by the city and the partnership with the community to get those bunk beds and provide a place for our homeless to stay during the cold months. A lot has happened in 15 months and as related to our homeless population and the work that the city has done in that space. You mentioned Haven Hope House. Can you share a little bit about where you are in that initiative and what's on the horizon?
Absolutely. So Haven Hope House is a name that we gave for the homeless shelter we're working on, which will be the first homeless shelter our county's ever seen, our city has ever seen. And we are, right now we finished the phase of the development, meaning the blueprints of what it's gonna look like. The architectural designs are out, they are complete, and we're going out to bid. Right now, the bid is being prepared to go out on the market to see who comes back with some good numbers. And if you know me, I'm gonna look for the best price and the best quality, not just the lowest price. So we're hoping to see some really good numbers from the community here and beyond to do this project for us so that we can go ahead and do our timeline for opening date and share it with the community. We've had so many people reach out And thank you so much to the chamber for how you stepped up immediately to help when it came to the neighbors in our community. And all of you out there that helped with that initiative, thank you so, so much. We are really blowing people away when I talk to people in other cities. They just cannot believe how fast we've moved, but we couldn't have moved this fast without having the community partners, as you mentioned, right there with us and wanting to see our city be so great. And one thing I'll tell you about it is we had the warming centers open in the coldest months, and we had the table church a few times, and then just recently we had, I think it's called No Limit Church, have the warming center. But we have one person, Brian Wise, who he's known as the homelessness liaison in the community. So I'm sure many of you've gotten calls from him. I know you have, even surprise pop-up visits.
Oh, yeah.
Brian is Brian, and he is awesome. He's so passionate about helping. But I went out with him to pick up individuals in a shuttle that was donated by a church to go out for this purpose, to bring them from their camps into a warm place, to get warm, get some blankets, get some clothing, get some hygiene, get some food, and sleep in a warm spot at night. So we went out a few times, and we just talked to the neighbors just like we talk to anybody else. And I know 5 of them by name, and they know who I am, and they're just so excited for and amazed at how our community has been receiving and trying to help them. Many people really do want a hand up. They're not looking for a hand out. So thank you so much for helping us change the narrative when it comes to our neighbors. And we've had some awesome success stories. So many awesome success stories, and I can't wait for some of those neighbors who actually turn their lives around to come in a public place and tell you what we did for them and the rest of their lives. So thank you so much.
Very good. So I know you love, sharing about the numbers and of course the individual statistics. Can you give us a little insight into how many, whether it's beds or how many units are going to be available? And you inferred, and I know we both have shared discussion about the additional services. So, career planning and just helping them take that next step to regaining independence. Can you share a little bit about what's on the horizon as far as that's concerned?
Yes, so we're planning, the last count I had with the architectural designs, we're planning about 50 beds for men and women together, separate of course. I'll say 50 to 65 beds for them to be housed. Whenever it's at full operation, we're gonna have our community space where we have it open for individuals, for organizations to sign up, to come in and provide whatever service they'd like to the neighbors. Not just to the neighbors, but also to the community. So we'll have that free space for the community to come in and provide their services about helping them get ID cards. Seems so simple, but that is the major issue. Helping them get their benefits. If they don't have a mailing address, they can't get their benefits. And we saw that something small, but it made all the difference in the world. Helping them get shelter. A lot of them are veterans, and there's no veteran that should be on the streets, especially when their trauma came from service. And we're seeing that majority of them that are on the streets, their trauma came from service. That means the VA will take care of them. And we connect them to the VA, and the VA does what the VA always does. They show up and they take care of our veterans for us and get them shelter. And now they're sleeping in homes, furnished, thriving, getting the medical treatment that they need. So we have those spaces if someone wants to come in and help them with getting jobs. Many of them want to work. They don't have an address, they don't have transportation, they don't have clothing, they don't even have a resume. But we have done this through our partnerships to set all those things I just mentioned to you up in a positive way, and that's how we're getting the great feedback. So the smallest thing makes a big difference for individuals who don't have anything. So that's why we're so thankful for the community, because if we didn't have those community partners and part of that coalition, then the city of Warner Robins would be trying to call and figure it out. But the coalition knows every piece of the puzzle. They were just operating separately. So now we brought them together in one space, and now everything connects, and it moves just like that. So we're also going to have a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, a proper commercial kitchen, which I'm hoping to go through the steps to make it a community kitchen. So when we're not operating it for the shelter, that others can come in and do some cooking for the community to come in and eat. So, this is gonna be really awesome for our community. I cannot wait to have the opening and really help more people transform their lives.
Thank you so much for those additional details. I'm gonna give you a little break and grab a sip of water, and we're gonna invite our good friend Monty Walters up to share with us all things water, sewer, all the fun stuff. So y'all welcome Monty to the stage. Monty asked me if he got to pick his music. I don't know that he picked it, but it works. It's fitting, yes.
It was okay.
It's okay, it's okay. We'll give it a B+. All right, so Monty, as I mentioned, as you're walking up, water and sewer are things that a lot of us just take for granted, and we don't think about where it comes from and what kind of planning, would be needed to do that. I know the last time you were here, we talked about expansion products for both of those. Can you give us some information on how those are going and where we are in the process?
Sure. So, last time I was here, we talked about the upgrades. So before I get started, I'd like to say, when I first met the mayor, first day we met, when she first got elected, we talked about whether I was gonna stay or not, or work for her or whatever. So the first things that I told her is that, number one, we have to love each other, respect each other, and trust each other. We haven't wavered from that whatsoever. And I just wanted to let everyone know, she's doing an amazing job. She brought coolness back to City Hall, really cool. You wouldn't even understand. So that was it right there. So, and fun, and made a lot of us enjoy our job again and want to come to work. So that's kind of what she's brought to me, because after 40-something years, I kind of got burnt out, but I got a renewed interest in working and helping her to do what, we making the best we can for the community. So I think everybody needs to give her another So when it comes to growth, that's really easy for me. I've been doing it for a long time. We have a new water plant on Crestview Church Road. We're hoping about having a grand opening maybe in April. We've got chemicals ordered. We had some electrical problems. But anyway, April, I think we're going to do a grand opening, a ribbon cutting, and we'll have an event for everybody to attend that wants to. We're also running new water lines, sewer lines out on the Development Authority site. Y'all can see what's going on out there with Flint Electric and I don't even know the name of the place they're building out there. Pratt Industries, yeah. They're just monstrous. I mean, they're giant. So we have to serve them with water, sewer, and gas. So that's one of the projects we're doing. The other ones are sewer upgrade projects to Bon Air, the Veterans area, and the Kroger and Houston Lake area, Lake Joy area. They're all big. We're taking 12-inch lines and making 15-inch lines out of them. We're building new lift stations out there. Phase 1 is going out for bid in the next couple of weeks. It's probably a $6 million project to upgrade sewer and a lift station. The other ones, we're still kind of stuck on easement acquisitions, and we're hoping to get them started by the 1st of next year.
Very good. So growth is a common theme for just about anybody that's on this stage at Eggs and Issues, but you can't have growth without proper planning for infrastructure and all of those services that really need to be baked in, far ahead in advance of development. And many people probably don't know the reach of the water and sewer services of the city. Can you share a little bit about what's available now versus what we need as far as future capabilities?
So I'm not sure about a little bit, but I will share about 2 pages of information. I don't normally bring notes, but when that question came up,
It's a lot.
I think
It's a lot.
So the complexity of our system is, which most people don't really realize, we serve gas in Twiggs County all the way to Jeffersonville. We serve the Peach outlet in Byron. We serve the whole city of Centerville. We serve Peach County across the interstate, Houston County, Centerville, Byron, and Warner Robins, and Robins Air Force Base. So all really complex system of water, sewer, and gas that we have to operate, maintain, modernize, and plan for future growth. So some of our capabilities, and I wrote these down, our water system is capable of 30 million gallons per day and 3 billion gallons of water a year that we can provide. Right now, we're 6.6 million gallons a day with water, 2.4 billion gallons of water pumped last year. Sewer, our capabilities are 15 million gallons of wastewater per day and 5 billion gallons of wastewater treatment per year. Currently, we're at 10 million a day, and last year we treated 3.7 billion gallons of wastewater. So we're putting clean water back into the environment, 3.7 billion gallons a day. So, the complexity of it is, we do have a 20-year plan that goes out to 2040. So what we've been seeing with growth is it's changed in just the last year since we talked before. Houses are getting smaller, lots are getting smaller, interest rates are going higher. Affordable housing is now on the market, for people that work for the city or wherever, people, that need more affordable housing. They're building high-rise apartments 4 stories high now. Instead of 100 homes in a subdivision, they're building 300 and 400 homes in a subdivision. So that's all changed our capacity needs for water, sewer, and gas. So now we're kind of tweaking our 20-year plan, and we're speeding things up. We're going to need a wastewater plant upgrade probably by the year 2030, which is about a $60 million endeavor. So we have to bring in the income for that to pay for it. We're upgrading our main trunk lines from 36-inch lines, 48-inch lines, 60-inch lines to 48s and 60s and 80-inch lines. And that's probably another $25 or $30 million project on top of the $50 million worth of projects we already have. So when I think about that every day, it kind of just blows my mind that we're dealing with that kind of money. And we're dealing with that kind of planning. And it takes a lot of people to put that together and a lot of support from mayor and council to come up with the money, because I can spend it. When somebody tells me we're doing a project and it costs $100,000, I'm like, wow, that's it? That's all you're doing? I'm kind of like the CEO of Nike or somebody, I guess, they talk in the hundreds of millions and billions, and that's kind of where we are with our infrastructure and our upgrades. It's not a small task, and it's a really complicated thing that we have to do to plan for it. So, and just so you'll know, I committed to the mayor that I would work here as long as she did. So,
Very good. I was just about to ask, you talked about growth planning, and I know you've got quite a large team that supports these efforts. I mean, you can imagine with those kind of numbers, there's no way this could be handled by a small staff. But I was about to ask Monty, with your 40+ years, what's the sustainability plan? Because you are a wealth of knowledge. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we switch the seat out and bring Kate up?
well, you keep saying team, and that's important. All the way from our legal, our finance, our consultants, our mayor and council. We have a lot of fun. When we did the tearing down the building the other day, me and the mayor threw bricks through the windows. Councilman Curtis, he did a really good job, so me and Charlie had to get up there and show him how kind of. Yeah, we
Your
threw two
shoulder's
at the
still
same time.
sore?
No, we worked it out.
Oh, he's bugged, yeah.
He's a pro fisherman, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do a lot of things, but my main job is the city of Warner Robins.
Monty, thank you so much for that update and all you do. And we'll give you a round of applause. And we're going to welcome Kate Hogan to talk all things economic development. All right, Kate, so we'll just continue that thought, Monty, with the wrecking ball and demolition that's been underway. So there have been 2 Operation Reawaken demolitions already completed. So let's talk about what's next for that, and then let's talk about what is the future of downtown Warner Robins. As the mayor alluded to, this is something that people have talked about for decades. Those of you who are lifers never thought this was going to happen. Tell us what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Love following Monty. He always gives all the good teasers, so I could just come up here, wrap it up in a nice pretty bow. But we have completed 2 demolitions for Commercial Circle after acquiring some property last year. It was a big year for acquisitions. We've spent about $4 million in 2012 and 2018 SPLOST. So we're really proud of the fact that we're delivering on the promises of both of those referendums. Our big demolition did happen last week, and it was some historical buildings as far as Councilwoman Carolyn Robbins previously owned them with her husband, Tony Robbins, and so we were excited. They had some structural defects, including some historical integrity issues as far as stucco was not a product of the 1950s, and so while we're sad to see those footprints go, we're really excited for the opportunity to bring new commercial and residential footprints into that Commercial Circle area. As Mayor Patrick mentioned yesterday at State of the City and then this morning, we have 81% of the Commercial Circle area under contract or under ownership, and that means that we have over 14 out of the 17 acres under the control of the city, which is hopefully going to be eliminating some of those barriers to entry that we've had historically as far as redevelopment of Commercial Circle. One of the largest challenges was that acquisition and assemblage of property, because there are also environmental concerns. So we're excited to hopefully take the driver's seat and make sure that this is a administration of action and implementation as far as those plans go.
Very good. If you have not driven down Watson through Commercial Circle since last week's demolition, I didn't realize just how significant that most recent demolition was until I drove past the other day, and it really does give you a better understanding of what can be possible. So let's talk about what's possible. So what are the plans as far as vertical construction is concerned, and paint that picture for us. What does this look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
Absolutely.
No pressure.
No, you're fine. And a small plug, Ken McCall's place, McCall Sandwiches, has a wonderful new sunny area with those buildings down. So go get a little bit of vitamin D in a sandwich at McCall Sandwiches. But yes, so as probably people in this room remember even better than I do, in 2009, the city of Warner Robins did a strategic plan for downtown redevelopment. 2013, we did another plan, and in 2021, we talked about doing a 3rd plan. And so Mayor Patrick has said from the very beginning that this administration is about action and implementation, and so just excited to be part of her team and making sure that we are working towards that. One of the challenges that Monty knows all too well and Craig Woodyard knows all too well with infrastructure, that is a historic area within Warner Robins, and so the infrastructure definitely needs to be upsized when we're talking about bringing new commercial and residential footprints to that area. So Mayor announced yesterday at State of the City, we are partnering with University of Georgia's College of Engineering. We've got 3 students, 2 civil engineers and 1 environmental engineer, to upsize all of our infrastructure. So we should have some really good blueprints, and I know Monty and Craig are both working towards trying to find some grants and identifying how we can make sure that we are prioritizing some infrastructure upgrades into that area to be ready to go vertical. Once we are vertical though, we're expecting that construction project for that 17 acres to be about $200 million facility. So it will return hundreds of thousands of square feet of commercial and residential opportunities into the Commercial Circle area. And again, we're super excited to partner with UGA on that one.
Awesome. Mayor, I want to give you the opportunity to weigh in on this, as I know this is, a vision coming to life before us. What, in your mind's eye, what's going to be down there? How are residents and citizens going to utilize this space? What does a typical weeknight look like? What does a weekend look like in the newly redeveloped Commercial Circle?
Wonderful. So, and Kate and I can tag team this one. But we're going up. You already said that. We want to have a live, work, play community. It sounds great in a tagline, but it's, you just visualize, live there, you can work there, and they can play there. That's what we want. We want a place where that's the heart of our city, and going through everything for what we had yesterday, I read up on our history a little bit more, and it really piqued my interest when I saw that right after the Great Depression is when the city of Wellston, the town of Wellston, agreed to build 2,000 residences when Robbins Airfield was placed. And with that 2,000 residents also came a commercial area that's called Commercial Circle. So this space was created originally to be for the live, work, play environment back after the Great Depression. So in 2024, as we're making our plans, we want to go back to that original purpose. Live, work, play community, except we're going to go high and make it dense because our city is not 2,000 people deep anymore, we're 80,000 plus. So we want it to be the spot where you go for anything that you might need. We want to see mom and pop shops. We want to see some staples too. I know developers are going to bring staples. We want to see things that you can get if you go to Johns Creek or if you go to Atlantic Station. We want you to be able to go there to work out, go grocery shopping, go to a pharmacy, have some nice international cuisine, maybe hopefully an international row, meaning all international restaurants on that part of the circle. We want to have entertainment space right next door in the Perkins Field area with a community amphitheater, nice community events, a activity center that'll be built from our SPLOST project, and a lot of walkability, easy parking again, because I don't like going places if I can't park. So we're gonna definitely make sure we have some parking deck or something, so parking is not an issue. Also some walking and biking trails that go from that part of our town to other parts of our town. So, you have anything else to add to that, Kate?
Yeah, I think when you're talking about placemaking strategies and really trying to identify a new place that isn't part of our standard consumer behavior, you've got to make sure you kind of have 10 things for people to do. And so really trying to have a diversified, dense offering within that commercial circle area is going to be a priority. And I think Lara's already doing a phenomenal job with special events in Perkins Field, going ahead and activating that space, working ourselves as a city into people's standard consumer behavior to reintroduce commercial circle while we are working on redevelopment strategies.
Perfect, nicely said. So I know that the commercial circle area has gotten a lot of attention, obviously, just physically seeing the transformation there, but really in the scope of things, Kate, it's a small portion of what's under your purview and what your office is working on. Can you give us a few updates of development happening citywide?
Yeah, absolutely. Development throughout the city is remaining strong. We've got some really great quick service style restaurants. Jim and Nick's just opened up. Hopefully we will also have Sacheras opening up soon on Houston Lake Boulevard. So that post-COVID freestanding with a drive-through, smaller footprint, quick service style restaurant is still very popular with developments coming into our area. We also have a significant number of car convenience care, oil change, car washes. I know. I also see the comments on Facebook. So that's again just one of those post-COVID trends as far as seeing car convenience and quick service style restaurants prioritized in the development community. Multifamily investment continues to remain strong throughout the city of Warner Robins. I think we'll probably see a little bit of a slowdown as far as multifamily goes because of the interest rates this year. But single family building permits, we are expecting a little bit over 500 building permits. So in the next 5 years, probably about 25 to 3,000 new single family homes within the city of Warner Robins. As far as industrial goes, we have just announced Pratt Industries in the Robbins International Industrial Park, which is a partnership with Peach County through our Joint Development Authority. We're really excited about that. Hopefully we'll have a few more new friends over there in the Robbins International Industrial Park in the next year or so. And we're just excited about continuing to build a strong ecosystem for our small businesses. And so we've got a new initiative coming up with Startup Warner Robins. It's going to be April 8th through April 12th. And it'll be a 10-part series as far as a bunch of different events, some really great strategic partnerships. We've got a website that should launch this week and a Facebook event coming as well. So we're just really excited to continue to build a strong ecosystem for businesses within our community.
Awesome, thank you. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Kate, before we trade you out? I always feel like I get a vocabulary upgrade when Kate's up here. flex those muscles I haven't used in a while. Kate, thank you so much for sharing with us and all you do. Events has been a recurring theme, so we're going to bring Lyra up. So Lyra, welcome. This is your first time joining us. If you can, just start off, just introduce yourself, because I think there's probably a lot of people in the room that haven't met you yet, even though you've been around for a while.
I have. I've been with the city for almost 4 years, but I work behind the scenes. So I'm Lyra. I'm from the Warner Robins Convention and Visitors Bureau. So thank you so much. This is my first time up here.
You'll be great. And the mayor, I'd love to have both of y'all kind of chime in on some of the different things. I know that the city, under your leadership, Mayor Patrick, has had an enhanced emphasis on community engagement, and events are one of the most visible ways that has happened, and really focusing on creating a sense of community. Can you give us just a picture of the events that are on the horizon for the city of Warner Robins?
Absolutely. So when I first started with the city, there was only one event. It was the Independence Day celebration. So this year we have 26 events, 2 signature events, but next, in 2 weeks, we're gonna start up our food truck roundup again. So we're also gonna have an Easter egg hunt with that event. So we have 45,000 eggs that we're stuffing for our Easter egg hunt, and we will have the muckers come out for our first food truck roundup of 2024. We also added 4 seasonal bazaars, which are essentially like farmers market. So that will be in April, June, September, and December. And then we are also having Oktoberfest, October 5th. And then we're also going to have a New Year's Eve event, which is going to be the Globe Drop. So,
nice.
And all of it will be on Perkins Field. It's an excellent area for everybody to join. It's a huge footprint, as everybody knows. So it's an amazing place.
Yeah, so if people have not been to one of your food truck rallies, share a little bit, because I think people in our minds, we think Friday nights. Y'all's is a little different. If you can share kind of what the cadence of those is, and some of the things that y'all do to make those unique.
Okay. So our food truck roundup this year, March through July, will be on the 4th Friday. So we did do the Fridays, but as we all know, we can't compete with football. So we have them August through November on the 3rd Thursday. So we have food trucks out, all local food trucks. We have activities for kids, so bounce houses, face painting, balloon twister, and then we always have entertainment.
Very good. Mayor, I know, as I mentioned, bringing the community together is a priority of yours. Why are things like our food truck rally important in our community?
Well, when I ran on the 3 I's, innovation, industry, and involvement. So that is the involvement piece, meaning we get to come together as a community. Warner Robins is only 81 years old, so we're very young to be the 11th largest city in the state. And what makes us unique to me, and many people who decide to make this their home as they come through Robins Air Force Base, as my family did, is that we have a small city feel to us. And having events only helps unearth that small city feel, so you can go out and see people that you never run into at Kroger or Publix or whatever shopping market you go to. And it's really coming to pass that way. That people love coming out because you get to see people and interact with people and not be in the hustle and bustle of a Monday through Friday work routine. So it's really something that people are loving. And when we talked about the globe drop, we were so afraid to ask Chief Fisher and Captain Edwards. If you don't know Captain Todd Edwards, we were so scared. But then I'll let Larry tell you what happened.
They were actually for it, and Chief gave some ideas on what we could do for the Globe Drop, and we'll keep that a secret. But it's coming together wonderfully.
Very good. And I'm just jumping to the conclusion, a globe for the international city.
Yes.
to signify that. Okay, very good, keeping the theme, alive. Can you share a little bit, I know you mentioned farmers markets, that's something many of us know, happens on Thursdays, down at Perkinsfield. What's gonna make the bazaars different and special, and why should people come out?
So I scope out Facebook a lot, and the consensus has been that a lot of people want to come to the farmers market that is currently going on Perkinsfield, but it's Thursday 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So Saturdays, we're gonna try it out, it'll be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we'll see how it grows. But it'll give an opportunity for the community to come out, and that's just basically what our agenda is this year, is just getting more community events, making, more things to do, because we hear it all the time, there's nothing to do in Warner Robins, so we hear you.
They're wrong. There's a lot to do. Just get on Robins Go or just about anything else on Facebook to find out all of the great opportunities. So Lyra, we'll wrap up with, the mayor mentioned the International City Experience. I know that got rescheduled due to inclement weather. Can you share with us when that's gonna be, and what is the International City Experience?
Sure thing. So the International City Experience is now on May 4th, so May the 4th be with you. It will be from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. We expanded our hours because, 2 months later, we have more sunlight. So right now we have over 15 different cultural acts that will be on our main stage. We have food vendors from all around the world, not only food truck vendors, but also booth vendors. So like Padua, the Jamaican restaurant that just opened up, they'll be out. We are gonna have a global marketplace, which are global vendors. So Mexico, there's a woman that does handmade bows and handmade dolls from Mexico. And then we're gonna have activities for kids. So we have bounce houses, face painting. If anybody follows Fairy Tales and Friends, they're gonna be out, and that we will have international princesses that you can meet and greet all day long. So, oh yes, and the passports. So there are activities for kids. We will be having passports for the kids and passports for adults that you can go and get your bingo card essentially stamped, and then come back for a free t-shirt at the city booth.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for providing us those updates. You did great. It was good having you here, and we hope to have you back next year. We're going to swap you out with Chief Fisher for our last musical chairs twist, and close things out with the mayor. Good morning, Chief. Thank you for joining us. So the mayor spoke earlier in her opening remarks about the impact of the pay raises. And for years sitting in this seat, we've heard about how hard it is to recruit, especially those in public safety, in law enforcement and fire, into positions when we weren't able to pay at a competitive wage. Can you talk about the impact of those raises on your ability to hire and to keep your department properly staffed to serve the community?
Absolutely. I'd like to say thank you to the mayor and council for their strategic approach to the pay matters they've addressed. While we mentioned that it was a 34% pay raise thereabout for the new hires this year, I think what's being missed is since mayor and council came into office, they've aggressively approached it in the year prior. There was a 10% pay raise. So when you look at it in a 2-year period, for those that are in the most impacted area, they received about a 44% pay raise, which I think we ought to give a round of applause to mayor and council. So to go to your question about in regards to how that's impacted, it's been very beneficial. It's allowed us to become competitive within the market to facilitate the hiring, as well as it's also created vastly more recruiters for the police and fire side, because our employees that are going out and about with their contacts day in and day out are the biggest employee benefit you have as far as drawing in new people to your agency, your organization. And that coupled with changing some degrees of culture within the organization to facilitate that. So we've been able to significantly increase our recruitment and retention.
Very good. So just 4 weeks ago, I believe, the mayor had, an emergency call to action meeting, following, 2 incidences that resulted in fatalities in the city. There was, just a wealth of community partners in attendance there, offering aid and resources to support, law enforcement in curbing basically future crimes that we can't necessarily always anticipate. Can you share some of the outcomes of that engagement and how that's impacted the department?
Sure. The call to action, it was truly an unfortunate situation that created that meeting, and I thank the mayor for that engagement that we had. We engaged in a phone conversation over the day prior to that in regards to things that we were looking at from the police departments that we were prepared in the future points. And that meeting came to a point where we could coalesce within the community to bring that forward. One of the things that Warner Robins Police Department's been doing in a cohesive plan for engagement within the community really was identified at that point in time, that call to action. That is engagement with our youth, and again, engagement within our community as a whole and within our religious faith groups of the multi-denominations that we have. The City of Warner Robins Police Department, prior to this event, we had already started scheduling our town hall meetings, which was something new for the department that Captain Clay, who's oversaw our community initiatives for quite some time, to say that's the first time in his entire career that we as the police department have initiated our engagements within the community at that point in time. So we're getting out 4 times this year. The police department's initiating that as a contact point. And again, for us to have the feedback and engagement with the communities. But it's the partnerships. One thing the mayor has really pushed forward within all our interdepartment aspects, carries out from our interdepartments as from our departments into the community, is again the partnership as us, as an entire community as a whole.
Very good. So Mayor, I saved this question. We've talked about a lot of things around technology, and I know smart technology is something that you've been talking about since before you got in office. I'd love for you to share some of those advancements, and then Chief, will piggyback the kind of where we are on the beta of Fusus as it relates to smart technology.
Okay, so for smart technology in the city, of course, we're now considered a Georgia Smart Community through our Digital Twin City project with Partnership for Inclusive Innovation and Georgia Tech collaboration. So we have a system that's the first in the world that's being used for the first time in the world that we're using here in our city. The way that we use our Digital Twin City has not been used anywhere but here, and it's getting international attention. And of course, we have the technology when it comes to smart policing that the police department is using. You mentioned Fusus, and of course, we have our I say criminal surveillance cameras, but we don't look in them unless something happens that makes us look there. But it helps to keep our community safe. It's deterring crime. We are seeing real-time numbers decrease when it comes to crime, and we've also identified that a lot of the growing crime that we've been seeing have been in our youth. So that's why the call to action was done. We are big on being proactive, proactive crime prevention, not just reactive. So a lot of the things that the police department's doing now is in a mission to be proactive to reduce crime, and now targeting the youth community because that's where a true issue does reside.
Very good. Chief, anything you want to add on Fusus and smart policing?
Sure. The Fusus and Smart Policing was a program that started prior to my administration that we carried on and we're improving and developing out through. The system in which it's designed with Fusus, for clarification, is it's not a big brother micro managing, looking into what's going on in your home and your lifestyle points. What it is, it's a partnership within the community and the police department in regards to where you can onboard as a member to the project, if you will. And if there was a crime or incident that would occur in a geo-proximity, what we can do by having a contact list is on a map, draw a geo barrier, if you will, as far as what we're looking at, and it would do a mass distribution email out to those that we have as registered users. And then the end user would turn around and view their video based off the specifics of what were set for a time frame. And then they would forward that to us if they had anything. So it's outside of business aspects, from the personal residential, it's not that we have access into their personal system base. And as far as businesses, we're looking at it from the scope of the outside of the business for perpetrators, bad actors, that would be on the approach or departure from their businesses from the time of the crime.
Gotcha. That's a great clarification there. And then finally, if you'll share with us briefly, a junior cadet program, I know that's something y'all are rolling out. Would love to find out who that impacts and how people can get involved.
So the Warner Robins Police Department's taken a multi-directional approach to our youth. The Public Safety Cadet Program, it's a national program that we're in partnership with. We finally got the waivers themselves designed to go out by the month's end. We should be making a pretty aggressive press release out onto that to get students and young adults up to the age from 14 to 21 to be members into it, so they get an exposure and experience to law enforcement and public safety as a whole. And in conjunction with that, we're also working with other programs such as the Young Marines program for children that are at some degree of additional risk to create a multi-angle approach to engaging with our youth within the community. And again, as we will identify with the call to action within the different groups within our community, again, with our engagements working back in with the youth. So we're approaching our aspect with the children, because that's the first angle approach coming through for our long-term health for the community at a lot of different angles.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Mayor, anything in closing that we haven't talked about that you want to highlight before we wrap things up?
Thank you. I failed to do this at the beginning, but I see Mayor Harley here, Mayor of Centerville. Thank you so much for being here, Mayor Harley. Good to see you. And I think that's the only other, oh, I see the coroner was here. Are there any other elected officials? I know there's some council members. I'm gonna come back to them. Anyone I missed? Okay, and then we have some commissioners from the Board of Education. Thank you all for being here. Councilman from Perry, councilman from Centerville. Commission, there's Perry Council, and then we had commissioners from the House County Board of Commission. Thank you, Commissioner, for being here and for the team. So all the people that support municipalities that touch us, thank you all for being here. I know public service is not easy, and your time is no longer your own. So we're in the trenches together. So I appreciate having the camaraderie of the other municipalities that are here with us. But really, and I thank you to sponsors as well, and to anyone who's with the military who are here. Most of them came out yesterday, so you don't see a table here today. But they are here, and we support each other. But really quickly, just want to tell you a little bit about the healthy budget that we have at the City of Warner Robins, because at the end of the day, that's one of the most important report cards when it comes to running a municipality. But our enterprise fund, which is how we make our money off of the assets we own, water, sewer, gas, etc. We've had an increase by 8% in that. The general fund has seen profits as well. When it comes to our different fund accounts, our sanitation, natural gas, water, sewer, stormwater, we have seen a 412% increase on those accounts. So we are, in summary, the City of Warner Robins, our budget is about 160 million plus right now. We started at 147, so we've had an increase. But we've also increased our revenue, and we have decreased our expenditures. So if you look between when I first started to now, everything's trending up at a higher angle than what it did before I got in office. So some people will say, city's not doing anything, she's not doing anything. I'm here to tell you that they're very wrong, and the numbers don't lie. And we work as a team. I am the CEO of the city, so I am full-time staff, and I work full-time and extra time and over extra time to make sure our city is running. I have to be in the community as well. That's part of my job. So I don't have much personal time or much time mommying to my 6-year-olds. So I put everything out here for the benefit of our city, because I love this city just as much as you, if not more than many. And we are working hard as a city to make sure that we are the best. And it's showing from the inside out, because the city government is operating at its best right now. So that's why your services are going to be seen to reflect that as well. So I thank everyone who supports the City of Warner Robins government. Thank you for giving us a chance to show you what we are all about and what we can do if we come together for a common purpose to make our city better. If you talk to our city employees, you're going to see that they love their jobs, we love on each other, and we care about each other. And most importantly, we care about our community. So thank you for having us and doing this for us, allowing us to share a little bit of our story. And if you ever have any questions from us, we are here, and we will be able to answer whatever you'd like. So once again, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone in the city, for sharing with us today. And as Paul Harvey would say, if you want the rest of the story, you've got those magazines that we encourage you to take with you. As you do that, you can take off your name tags and drop them at your tables so that we can have those ready for you guys to use at our next event here, which is on April the 11th. We will have State of the Base. If you have tickets, will go on sale today. So we have gotten all clearance to put those out to the public. So you'll get an email this afternoon with some highlights from today and information about registering for that. That's always a wonderful time to get an update on Robins Air Force Base. I know we've kept y'all a little bit long. Two final things. One, business after hours next Thursday at the brand new women's healthcare facility in Bon Air. Just from the pictures I've seen, it is a beautiful new facility to expand the services that they offer here. And then finally, unfortunately, I was unable to attend the State of the City yesterday because we kicked off the GACCE, Georgia Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives Staff Development Conference in Columbus, and I'm the chair of that statewide organization this year. And my hardworking team was back here getting ready for you guys today. But both Tiffany and Ara Lee received a recognition for their years of service at that time, and I have their plaques. And I'm not going back to the office today because they're gonna kill me. Neither of them really enjoy the spotlight, but I want to ask those ladies to come forward. This year, in addition to the Chamber's 75th anniversary, marks Tiffany's 5th year with the organization and Ara Lee Birthday Girl's 20th year serving our chamber and the members of the Thank you all for joining us. I'm sure the mayor and her team will be here to share anything else that you've got. We look forward to seeing you next time, and that's all we've got today. Thanks, everybody.
If you want to sign up for Citizens Police Academy, see the officer by the door. Yeah.
Hey.
Jerry, thanks for coming. This past Christmas time, it's really much fun. I'm a procurement. So it's just how it is with people. My super Robins
Thank you for all you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.